Aloha, welcome to Chuck Furuya Uncorked. We're really excited to have Hawaii mixologist here, Dave Newman.
At 808 Bartender.
At 808 Bartender.
Thanks for having me.
He's going to be doing a little twist on wine of the week for us this week. It is going to be a Cocchi-based cocktail. You want to talk a little bit about it, Dave?
Yeah, so Cocchi Americano is one of my favorite go-tos. It's an aromatized wine, so a fortified white wine. Very similar to Lillet Blanc, but we're going to be coming from Italy instead of France.
Can you explain maybe like the flavors that you would smell or taste in an aromatized wine like Cocchi?
Yeah, so it's going to be infused with a lot of botanicals, so you're going to get some floral notes. It gets some really great tropical notes, which I think makes it super, super amazing for Hawaii.
Awesome.
Super stoked on that. He actually made it for us after one of our podcast filming segments, and it was super hot outside.
It's the perfect cruise session cocktail.
Cruise session. And like he said on the teaser, it's low ABV, so you can have more than one. It's super refreshing.
So you can for real cruise.
Yeah, for real cruise.
I think it's really nice to have a few drinks that you can fall back on. They're going to be lower ABV, so you can kind of keep pace when you want to still hang out, but still have a drink in your hand. And especially something so refreshing that just really works in the hot weather.
So we're going to be demonstrating how to infuse the Cocchi with, this is specifically an English cucumber too, right?
So this is kind of just personal preference, but I'll buy one English cucumber to infuse with, and then I actually use a Japanese cucumber as the garnish.
Oh, and what are the differences?
So the English cucumber is going to be a little bit milder in flavor. The Japanese cucumber has a more crispness, and it's a little bit more aromatic. And as a garnish, you're always looking for that.
And it's in shape-wise, when you go to the store, the English ones are a little bit rounder, and the Japanese one is a little bit thinner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just talking about
a lot of bit
girth
thinner
here, guys.
I'm super uncomfortable.
Don't worry, Chuck's out of the room, so we're good.
Chuck's on the bench tonight for one of the weeks, so.
But awesome. So can you talk about the first time maybe you thought of making this cocktail?
Yeah, I was looking to actually create an ingredient for another cocktail.
Oh, okay.
When I tried it after 3 days, I was like, this just has to be on its own. It's so good. So just with a splash of soda water. I've always been a big fan of Cocchi. It goes in a lot of classic cocktails. You can throw it in there. It's a really good lengthener too. When you need a little bit more volume to your cocktail and you want to bring the ABV down, you can add some Cocchi in.
Instead of cutting it with water or soda or anything.
Yeah. And just to be clear, when people are searching for a Cocchi in the store, this is the Blanc and they have a Rouge, correct?
Yeah. So it works incredibly well with the Blanc. The Rouge plays a little bit better with more floral notes.
So specifically, the refreshingness of the cucumber is going to pair really well with this Blanc.
Exactly.
Nice. I'm so stoked.
So what is the first steps to preparing the Cocchi to get infused?
All right. So we're going to take our English cucumber. We're going to go ahead and just lose the edges.
Poor guy.
So I'm going to cut that in half and then cut this again in half lengthwise. So I've tried a bunch of different experiments with this. If you leave the seeds in, it's gonna draw that bitterness.
Oh, interesting.
So I like to actually remove the seeds. So I'm just gonna take a spoon, run straight down the middle.
For wine viewers, that might resemble similar types of characteristics in wine when people have really, really lignified seed and stems, right? Where it's like kind of like that bitterness.
And we're just going to go ahead and cut this into strips. You just want them to be able to fit into the bottle.
And how many or how much, if you just cut that cucumber into fourths, how much of the entire cucumber are you going to use?
So I'll actually use one like medium-sized cucumber.
Okay.
So I've taken the Cocchi that was in here and I put it in another bottle.
Okay.
Because what I like to do is after I have that first drink and I'm going to leave it in my refrigerator for a couple of days, I'll just add that fresh Cocchi back in.
Nice.
Or just enjoy it with soda water. It's delicious on its own. So super easy. We are just going to start dropping these guys in.
I actually smell the cucumber already.
100%.
That's really cool.
So we're gonna cut all this cucumber, infuse this 3 days in the refrigerator.
Okay.
Then I'll go ahead and pour out the Cocchi.
Yep.
If you just kind of shake this over the garbage can, the cucumber spears will come out.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then you can put the Cocchi back in there to store it.
Got you.
It's going to last in the fridge for about 10 days. After about 6 or 7 days, you're really gonna notice that the flavors start to change, though.
Oh,
Into
interesting.
like the cucumber taste is gonna spoil a little bit.
Yeah, if you, it would do the same thing if I just left the cucumbers in there and never took them out. It's gonna get a little funky.
I got you.
But of course, we finish it within the second day.
I mean,
Guaranteed.
before the first day
Yeah.
is over, really.
It's a cruise session.
So we're gonna let this sit for 3 days, come back and make the cocktail, right?
Yeah, so I have another bottle, so we can just grab that out of the cooler.
Perfect.
Cool. So we're
Little
gonna take
bit
a
movie
quick
magic.
break and get that other bottle out of the cooler as we start to prepare the wine of the week cocktail.
Stoked. Let's take the break.
Awesome. I went all the way over to the cooler and got the other bottle. It's amazing.
Seems like a long time, but we're back again.
We had to take a little break to prep the cucumber
And it really filled up the room. I think everybody smells a lot of cucumber in the best way right now.
yeah.
It's pretty crazy how aromatic it is.
Because you don't think about cucumber as being a super like pungent smelling thing.
But it's like lightly pungent. It's
Yeah.
not like gonna clog up your senses kind of pungent. It's very subtle.
It's not like a bell pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. So how do we get started now that in theory, we have this one for 3 days, right?
Right. So once you've let it infuse for 3 days, go ahead and grab your favorite glass. You can pull the cucumbers out like I talked about, or the first run, I'll usually just pour with the cucumbers in there and try to be careful.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Don't want to waste any cookie.
Don't want to waste.
Do you ever eat the cucumbers after you pull them out?
I'll eat the cucumbers and the garnish, but
Oh,
the
okay.
cucumbers from in here are not the best.
Oh, okay.
Because they've been
Fair.
sitting for 3 days.
Yeah. They're gonna get definitely a little bit pungent, and the flavor is gonna get really intense.
Oh, okay.
Always just want to use a good mixer for your drinks. So find your favorite soda water.
And which soda water are you using right
I
now?
am using the Q soda.
Oh, okay.
So they do a really good job. We have some really good soda waters out here. Fever Tree is really great too.
What makes a good soda water, first of all? I'm going to move your microphone a little bit.
Yeah, so for me, it's definitely mouthfeel, the effervescence, size of the bubbles.
Do you prefer smaller bubbles for a cocktail like this or bigger?
For a cocktail like this, I definitely like the smaller bubbles.
Okay, cool.
Is it like a elegance factor or?
It's definitely the mouthfeel, so you could call it elegance for sure.
If Chuck was here, he would start singing Tiny Bubbles. Guarantee.
So like I said, I definitely like to use Japanese cucumber for the garnish. We'll just set those right on top. Super easy. You want the aromatics to really play with when you're introducing the garnish. Cheers.
Ooh.
Cheers.
Chin chin,
Thank you very much for
everyone.
sharing this with us.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Cheers,
Cheers.
Pleasure.
Oh, that smells amazing.
I love it. Super easy drinking.
It's like a soda. It's a cucumber soda.
Adult soda.
Exactly.
I call these drinks like spa drinks. It's something you'd want to drink if you were in the spa getting a massage or I'm going to get my pedicures, you know?
Oh.
Getting purdy.
Getting party.
No, it's really refreshing. And, we mentioned bell pepper, where sometimes people are a little bit repulsed by that greenness. It's overly green. But this is the perfect amount of, it's herbaceous in the perfect way without being overly pungent. But it still has a great complexity. It's light. It's refreshing.
For Hawaii's climate, especially right
Yeah.
now with how high the humidity is, perfect.
I like to go about 4 parts of the infused Cocchi with 1 part soda water.
And I know that when you made it for us after we had filmed that night, you actually cut your own ice for that as well. So you want to slow down the dilution for something like this?
Yeah, so that was just a larger cube. So, the more surface area on the ice cubes you have, the quicker it's going to dilute. This is so refreshing, though. It's not going to last too long in your glass. You don't have to worry
Yeah,
about it too much.
absolutely.
And then just keep your mixer cold. And obviously, the Cocchi stays in the refrigerator for the 3 days. So, dilution shouldn't really be an issue.
It's a great aperitif on its own. Do you have any, if you had to pair something with it food-wise? It's really better just on its own, but if you had to.
I love it with ceviche.
Oh, nice. I love that.
Because ceviche already has the acid. It's got the bigger flavors from the onion and cilantro. So
That's awesome. It pairs with the freshness for sure.
Well, right on. Thank you for sharing with us. It's just a different twist of wine of the week this week that, for one, is very appropriate for Hawaii, and just another twist that makes it more interesting, I think.
Something you can make at home. It's so
Yeah.
easy. Makes you look like a pro.
I feel like I'm gonna have a bottle of this infused Cocchi in my
Like
fridge
at all times.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I hope none of my friends see this so they don't know that I'm actually just mooching off of Dave when I bring it to parties.
Just don't bring it to my party.
Yeah. That's one thing I won't do.
I'm actually, if you ever do have a party next, I'm claiming the Cocchi as something I bring.
That's awesome. Love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was an awesome spin. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, you guys.